The last time I saw my mother before that day, I was 19, sitting on the steps outside our rotting duplex with 2 garbage bags full of my clothes. She'd tossed them down from the second-floor window and shouted, "Your room's for your brother now. You're too old to be freeloading." No goodbye, no hug, not even a glance as I dragged those bags into the dark. That was 7 years ago. Now I was 26. I'd survived 4 jobs, 2 evictions, and 1 freezing winter in a car that didn't start half the time. But I'd built something, a little apartment, steady paychecks, friends who didn't treat me like I was born to be someone's disappointment. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. And still, I showed up on that Saturday, not because I owed her anything, but because I'd heard she was sick. Stage 2 breast cancer. My little cousin from Facebook messaged me. "Auntie Marla's going through chemo. I thought you should know." So I bought a used blazer, took a half day off work, and rode a Greyhound bus back to the city that made me feel small. I knocked on the same old door, the one with the peeling red paint and rusted numbers. A stranger opened it. My sister's fiancé, apparently. He looked me up and down like I'd brought lice with me. "Who are you?" "Delaney," I said. "Marla's daughter." He blinked. "Oh, you're that one." That one? He let me in without saying anything else. The inside hadn't changed. Same smoke-stained walls, same tacky plastic flowers in cracked vases. My sister Tasha stood by the window, dressed like a department store mannequin, fake smile glued on. "Well, look what the alley dragged in," she said, not even trying to sound happy. "Hi," I said. She didn't hug me, just called toward the hallway. "Mom, your project from the past is here." I heard her heels before I saw her, clacking slowly against the floor like a judge entering a courtroom. And then there she was. My mother. Shorter than I remembered, hair thinner, but eyes still sharp enough to cut a throat. She wore a champagne-colored dress with sequins that didn't match the occasion at all. She stopped 5 feet away from me. I opened my arms. Her face soured. She stepped back and snapped, "Don't wrinkle my dress with your poverty." My arms dropped. Tasha snorted. "Wow, you really thought this was gonna be a moment." I stood there, in my borrowed heels with a gift bag in my hand. Inside was a lavender scarf I saved up for, her favorite color still, after all these years. "I came because I heard you were sick," I said. Mom tilted her head. "So now you want credit for being decent? You didn't call, you didn't visit, you left. You kicked me out." "Oh, please," she hissed. "You always made everything harder, always complaining, always weak. I had 2 other kids to raise, not just a storm cloud dragging its sadness through the house." I looked at my sister. She was smirking. "You came here for what?" Mom asked. "Forgiveness? Closure? Go to church for that." I swallowed. My throat burned. "I just thought you might want to see me." She leaned in close, just enough that I could smell her expensive perfume and bitterness all at once. Then she whispered, "You're lucky we let you live here as long as we did. Trash gets taken out eventually." I didn't move. I didn't cry. I just put the scarf bag on the side table. "That's all," I said. "That's all I needed to hear." Then I walked out, but not away, because they thought that was the end of me. It wasn't. It was the start. I didn't cry until I reached the end of the block, and even then, it wasn't the kind of cry I'd felt before. It wasn't grief. It was fury with nowhere to go. I sat at the bus stop, knees shaking, clutching the empty gift bag like it still had something valuable inside. People passed me like I was invisible, a girl with cracked heels, red eyes, and nothing left to prove. But something changed in that moment. The silence I'd carried for years cracked open. They wanted me small, forgotten, ashamed of surviving, but I was done playing poor. That night, I opened a new notebook and made 3 lists. 1. What they said I was. 2. What I actually am. 3. What they would lose next. I didn't have rich friends. I didn't have a trust fund or connections or power. But I had something they didn't expect. Time, memory, and receipts. The first thing I did was apply for my birth certificate and dig into every financial document I could request. Turns out, when I was 17, my mom took out a loan under my name, a small one from a shady lender. That's why my credit was garbage when I tried to rent my first apartment. She never paid it back. She'd stolen from me before I even knew what credit meant. I filed a fraud report and got it wiped. That wasn't revenge. That was reclaiming what was mine. Then came phase 2. My sister Tasha was planning a wedding, a big one. The same cousin who messaged me about mom's cancer sent me a group invite. Dress code, gold and navy. Venue, the Royal Oak Grand. I clicked going. No one noticed, and I watched the posts pile up. Cake tastings, venue visits, engagement photos in fields of sunflowers, Mom and Tasha in matching robes for the bridal shower. I knew what I looked like to them, a broke, forgotten mistake. So I let them believe it. What they didn't know? I'd been promoted twice in the last 2 years, quietly, silently. I was now assistant to a director at a private grant foundation that funded small nonprofits, including struggling family businesses. 3 weeks before the wedding, I came across a request that stopped me cold. Applicant name, Daniel and Marla's Catering Services, my mom and stepdad. Apparently they were trying to rebrand the side hustle, the one they used, to make us work at every summer and get funding for community enrichment. Their proposal used stock photos and buzzwords, but their name was real, and their request landed on my desk. I didn't reject it. I didn't flag it. I did something worse. I passed it to our compliance team. Turns out their tax filings were a mess. No food license renewal since 2019. Employees listed who hadn't worked in years. One of them? Me. I wasn't cruel. I didn't report them. I simply did what the job required, followed protocol. By the time Tasha's rehearsal dinner rolled around, Mom was too busy responding to state audit requests to notice who RSVP'd, and I did RSVP, under my legal name, with no +1. I didn't plan to cause a scene. I didn't even plan to stay. I just wanted to see it, to watch the way they all smiled without me, to feel, for one final time, how deeply they believed I was nothing. I wore a simple black dress, clean, tailored, my own money, my own shoes. When I walked into that hall, heads turned, not because I was beautiful, because I was unfamiliar. My sister didn't recognize me at first, neither did Mom. But then Mom's eyes narrowed. "You're not supposed to be here," she hissed. "I RSVP'd," I said calmly. "Didn't you check the list?" "You're doing this to ruin her day. You always do this. Always jealous." Tasha walked over in her satin dress and glitter heels, looked me dead in the face and said, "You have 60 seconds before I get security." I smiled. "Then let's make them count." I opened my clutch and pulled out a small folded letter. Not dramatic. Just a printed copy of the compliance investigation alert, marked confidential for applicant only. "You'll want to read this before Monday," I said, sliding it across the tablecloth. "Wouldn't want any distractions during your wedding week." Mom picked it up with trembling fingers. "What is this?" I turned to leave. Behind me, I heard her gasp. Tasha grabbed the paper. "What the hell is this? What did you do?" I didn't turn around, because that wasn't revenge. That was justice warming up. And their real punishment hadn't even started. They say revenge is best served cold. But I didn't want revenge. I wanted removal. The day after the wedding, my phone rang. It was a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail, then another. And another. I didn't listen to any of them. I already knew what they were calling about. The audit hit faster than expected. The funding team froze their application, and a red flag was sent to the state licensing board. That led to a full inspection of their so-called family catering business. My mom and stepdad had listed fake events, even claimed hours worked by people who hadn't spoken to them in years. One of them was me. Another? My ex-best friend, who now worked in a lawyer's office. They were ordered to return funds they'd claimed, fraudulently and barred from applying to any future small business grants through verified funding networks. Their reputation in the community gone overnight. But I didn't gloat. I didn't even post about it. Instead, I walked into work that Monday with a new application in hand, not for them, but for a struggling single mother trying to open a real bakery in the same neighborhood. I got her approved. That was the win I wanted. But karma wasn't done yet. 2 months later, I got another call. This one wasn't blocked. It was my dad, my real dad, the one who left when I was 9 and never called again. "I heard what happened to your mom," he said. "Thought maybe we could talk." I laughed. "You all come crawling when the meal's gone cold." "I just think you need family." I paused. "You're right. I do need family. That's why I'm building one that starts with me, not ends with you." I hung up. That was the day I took the last photo off my shelf. An old cracked frame of me and Mom at a school play. I finally threw it away. No nostalgia, no music swelling, no tears. Just peace. I changed my number. I moved apartments. Nothing fancy. Just something with sunlight, space, and silence. And then, one morning, months later, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address, no note inside, just a check. $76.32, the exact cost of the dress I'd worn to her wedding. I flipped it over. In Mom's handwriting, "This is what you're worth. Hope it buys your pride." I smiled. I walked to the corner, folded the check in half, and slid it into the hands of a homeless teenager sitting with a cardboard sign. He looked up, confused. "Why?" "Because someone once told me that's all I was worth. Now it's theirs to prove them wrong." He blinked, then tucked it into his jacket. I walked away, never turning back. The people who treat you like poverty? Let them rot in their luxury. Because I wasn't poor. I was rich in everything they'd never earn. Self-respect, memory, and the ability to walk away without breaking. Let them keep their dresses clean. I'll keep my soul intact. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.